In this video, I want to share some of the things that I've learned from publishing over 120 books in the last 3 years on Amazon KDP. I think it will really help you out, and I wish I'd known some of these things when I first started my self-publishing business. Hi, I'm Caroline. Welcome to my channel. Every single week, I share videos all about self-publishing books, and you're watching one of them right now, so thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me here. I have published a lot of books over the last few years. In fact, I actually self-published my very first book way back in 2013, and back then I started publishing self-help books in the nonfiction space. I actually published 2 or 3 books that I purchased from a PLR website. If you're not familiar with what a PLR website is, it stands for private label rights, and it is basically pre-made content that you can put your name on, that you can brand as your own and use for whatever you want to use it for. I had no idea what I was doing, and I just had this bright idea of purchasing pre-made books, and then I wouldn't have to take the time to create those books myself. It would be very easy to go through and publish a lot of books quickly and just publish them without making that content unique in any way whatsoever. I sold a few books over the following year, but I didn't really take the time to learn anything about self-publishing books or selling books on Amazon or marketing my books. And because they didn't take off and immediately become bestsellers like I had imagined they would, I pretty much gave up and I figured that self-publishing doesn't work, and I moved on to something else. Looking back, I really do wish I had been persistent and kept working at it and actually learned the business model, because if I knew then what I know now, I could have built a thriving self-publishing business much earlier. But in the end, I always kept coming back to books and self-publishing no matter what other online business I tried. And in September of 2020, I decided to try again and really learn the ins and outs of Amazon KDP. Since 2020, I have published over 120 books, and the majority of those are low and medium content books. And I also have my children's picture books too. And so I want to pass on some of the stuff that I've learned from publishing this many books so that hopefully you can avoid doing what I did way back in 2013 and learn some of these things a lot quicker. One thing that I have learned is to take it seriously from the very beginning. This means doing things like really taking the time to research and decide on a brand name or a pen name. Make sure you choose something that isn't one that is already being used by somebody else so that you don't have to change it later. Make sure it's one that you are going to be happy using for all of your books, because you will want to build a brand around it. If you can, do things like register a business name, get a bank account for your business, register domain names and social media accounts. Now, I'm not saying that you can't start self-publishing books if you don't have all these things. Please don't let it stop you if you don't want to or can't do those things. But if you have the business side of things sorted out at the beginning, it's just going to make things run a lot smoother in the future so that you can just focus on publishing and selling your books. Something else that I've learned is that the sheer amount of things that you need to learn is pretty overwhelming. And this can stop a lot of people in their tracks from even getting started with self-publishing a book. You need to learn how Amazon and its algorithm works, how Amazon's customers shop and choose books, how to choose what type of book to publish and in what niche, how to actually create that book and get it onto Amazon, how to get your book to sell, how to build a series and a brand around your book. And that's just to name a few things that I've had to learn. The amount of hours that I have spent since 2013 learning about all these things is just crazy. And who knows, maybe if I had known the amount of stuff that I was going to have to do and learn, I may have never even kept going with self-publishing books. But I am so grateful that I did keep going. But what I'm saying is that I understand how overwhelming it can feel, how much there is to it, how it can feel like you're never going to get there, that it can sometimes feel like you are never going to sell a single book. And something that I'm actually really excited to announce is that I have been working on something that quite a lot of you have actually been asking me for over the past year or so. And that is that I'm currently working on building you guys a course all about self-publishing books with a focus on low and medium content books. I am really excited to finally bring this to you where I can really give you so much more in-depth information and just really hold your hand through this whole process. If you do want to know more about this course when it is available, I have set up a waitlist that you can pop your name onto to be the first to be notified when and where you can get access to it. There is a link down in the description box below if you want to get on that waitlist. Something else that I have learned, and I picked this one up very early on in my self-publishing journey, and that is nobody is going to sell my books for me, unfortunately. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I self-published my very first book way back in 2013, and I thought all that I had to do was put the book up, put it for sale on Amazon, and it would just sell. People would just find it, they would absolutely love it, it would change their lives, and they would tell their friends, Amazon would love it too, and show it to all their customers. And then when that didn't happen, I gave up, thinking that Amazon was broken and self-publishing was a scam. But the reality was, or the reality is, that I didn't really want to face, was that it was up to me to sell my book. There is more to this business than just creating and publishing books. I had to put it out there. I had to find ways to market it and get it in front of the right customers. No one was going to do that for me. It was a big mistake that I made early on, and how to market and promote your book is something that you should have planned out before you even publish your book. Now, you will have to put yourself out there. This is something else that I've learned, and while I'm still not fully comfortable about it, it just has to be done. So if you are also feeling uncomfortable about putting yourself out there, I totally get it. And this is going to be the same for any kind of online business out there. So if you're looking for an online business where you don't have to put yourself out there whatsoever, you are not going to find it. It is never going to work if you don't put yourself out there. It was the same with this YouTube channel. I really wanted a platform where I could share my journey with self-publishing and all the knowledge that I have collected over the past 18 years or so of working in online businesses. And so I put off starting a YouTube channel for years because of the fear of things like judgment and negativity. But putting myself out there and just doing it despite that uncomfortableness was one of the best things that I have done alongside my self-publishing business. And it will be the same for your self-publishing business too. It is the only way for people to find out about you or your books. Even if you decide to promote your books on social media using a faceless account, so a social media account where you don't show your face, and that is totally doable. You can have great success selling books through a faceless social media account, like the ones I have been sharing on my channel about promoting books on TikTok. Even in those instances where you're not showing your face, you're still putting yourself out there and opening yourself up to criticism or negativity, but you just have to do it and keep going, because it's also going to open you up to opportunities and the chance to build a really successful self-publishing business and brand. Don't make the mistake of thinking all you need to do is publish your books and that's it. People buy into you and your story and how they relate to you or how you make them feel. One of the other things that I have learned publishing over 120 books, and this one relates specifically to low and medium content books, and that is low content does not equal low effort. When I came back to self-publishing on KDP back in 2020, I was learning about low content books and I thought, hey, I can make hundreds of notebooks and slap a different cover on each one and be making thousands of dollars every single month. But when you aren't putting in the effort to research the niche, what type of books people want, what designs they want on their books, what styles they like to buy, customers can really tell, and that will reflect in your sales. It's not just about making a book and publishing it and just hoping for the best. It's about finding out what people's problems are, what they need help with, what they need a solution to, what they want more of in their life. What is it that is going to help make things easier or better or whatever for them. Then once you have found all that out, it's really about putting effort into your book, into creating your book, creating as high a quality book as you possibly can, whether that's through the designs you create or the tools that you're using to create the book. Really putting thought into what Amazon's customers want in their books, even if it is as simple as a notebook. Just because it is a simple notebook doesn't mean that the quality of your cover design or the way you create your lined pages in your notebook can be less thought out or less or lower quality. Spend time researching as many notebooks as you possibly can. How many lines is usually on one notebook page? What color are the lines? How thick are the lines? Should the paper be cream or white? I bet you didn't think that a simple notebook would have so many elements, would you? And then obviously the more detailed or the more intricate your book starts to get, maybe when you start looking at creating more medium content books, things like coloring books, activity books, puzzle books, etc., you need to be even more careful and put even more effort into creating and publishing those books too. Now, I think that's all we have time for in this video. Those are just a handful of the things that I have learned so far publishing so many books on Amazon KDP over the years. Of course, these are not the only things I've learned, and I'm sure I will continue to keep learning things about this wonderful business of self-publishing books, and I will always strive to share with you what I do learn along the way. I hope that you have found this video helpful and that it helps you navigate the journey of self-publishing books using the Amazon KDP platform. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.